Hello and welcome back to Downloadable Content. Forefront literally just updated and added some major changes. Everything from a new map variant to new vehicles. Let's dive in. So the biggest part of this update is the inclusion of the Apache attack helicopter and the new land vehicle, which is anti-air. The first thing that has been added is a new Apache attack helicopter. This thing is a beast. It flies fast. It's pretty easy to control. It's also equipped with missiles, so it actually makes fighting tanks super easy. It takes them down very quickly. We don't have too much data on how this is going to perform against the players, considering people can just lock talons on it and shoot it out of the sky. But at the very least now, as a pilot, you no longer have to fear tanks. But that's where the next tank comes in, which is actually the anti-air tank. Pretty much straight out of Battlefield, this thing's main goal is to shoot down the enemy Apache attack helicopter. Of course, you can shred infantry as well, but if you do that, you're going to be screwing over your team because that attack helicopter is very powerful. So it's awesome to see brand new vehicles like this, and they still have their weaknesses. They're pretty straightforward to take down. The Apache attack helicopter obviously gets countered by the anti-tank, as well as the Talon locking on, and of course the old amazing rocket and/or RPG shot. And the anti-tank, well, you can just decimate it as a normal engineer from a distance with RPGs, get close with C4, blow it up with a tank, or if you're really lucky, just take it down with the attack helicopter. But these two new vehicles are already changing the landscape of gameplay. If you thought the Little Bird was a problem, now imagine a Little Bird and an attack helicopter destroying you. I think it's really cool to get more nuance in combat, especially with these new vehicles. It really lets players kind of choose their own play style. So if you're a terrible shot as an infantry, you still have hope because you can be an amazing pilot or an amazing, tank engineer. And you'll be able to find both of these new vehicles in pretty much any map you play, except for possibly Rush. I haven't been able to do too much experimentation with these ones, but you primarily will find them in Conquest and possibly Rush. Now, speaking of Conquest, they added a new map field test, is what they're calling it, which is Conquest Siberia. So it takes that Siberia you know and love from Rush, with all the people camping on the bridge and being stupid, but turns it into playable Conquest map. And I am very excited for this one. Playing on Paradise, I love that. Playing on Iceland is unfortunately usually a server killer. I still think it has its ups and downs when it comes to that map. However, getting another brand new Conquest map, well, I say brand new, it's really a rehash. Being able to play Conquest, another variant of it on this map, is very welcome. Which reminds me that they're actually going to be doing more field tests like this one to be able to use other maps in other game modes. So it's possible we might even see Rush on Iceland. Now, that was the major content addition to the game, but they added so much more, and we're going to go over that right now. Some of these things seem like they're going to be small, but they're going to make a drastic difference, with the first one being my absolute favorite under the general category, is they added not being able to spawn on a squad mate that's currently engaged in combat. How many times have you been actively shooting at someone and they spawn bomb you with 3 of their friends and you lose the firefight? Well, not anymore, because you will be able to suppress them, keep doing damage, and their people won't be able to spawn on them. They also added receiving XP for more actions, such as squad spawns, respawning on a respawn beacon, a headshot kill, repairing vehicles, passenger kills, and an entire squad wipes. So for everyone out there looking to get more XP, they added many, many different ways of getting it. Then they fixed a spawn beacon not despawning upon team swapping, so I don't know if you were still able to put a beacon down and then respawn on it. That's actually an insane glitch, so hopefully that's just gone. They fixed the death recap turning blue when inside fog, so that's kind of like a visual thing. And they also fixed crouch and speed when walking/running after jumping over an obstacle. Then there's some bugs that they fixed. So they fixed players being able to get underneath the E location on Iceland, which is an abuse. And they also fixed the players being able to get inside trailer props due to a bug abuse. So it's great that those have been ironed out. And to the people that were doing it past the point of discovery, you're kind of like a little bit of a jerk for that. This is kind of like an early access game, so it's meant to find those things and get rid of them. But if you were someone that was just doing that just for fun and trying to boost your stats that kind of don't exist, I don't know, man. Go get some friends. They also adjusted the first 3 levels of progression for the other classes, so they're in line with the engineer. They adjusted the whiteboard roadmap in the main menu to reflect the current progress, so that's a slow clap for that one. And finally, they adjusted the vehicle spawns to account for new vehicles. So if you were camping the Little Bird or the M1 Abrams, well, now get ready. There's going to be some delays in the road as the new vehicles make their way. Now let's move on to weapons and attachments. They added the auto completing the reload cycle after pulling the bolt all the way back on snipe. So if you haven't been playing as the recon class, because let's face it, you're not that good at this game, it's okay. There was something where it wouldn't bolt all the way when you pulled back. So now when you pull it back, it's going to auto-complete. So it's kind of like a quality of life thing to make you able to, well, return fire faster. They also fixed a faster fire rate glitch on the 50 cal vehicle mounted turrets. So if you were feeling that those things were killing you faster than you imagined, you weren't crazy, and that is now fixed. They also fixed accidentally primary guns loaded magazine grabbing. So in the heat of combat, if you were going to like grab your rifle with the other hand and accidentally grabbed your magazine, hopefully that is fixed. And they also fixed the pump action shotgun toggling laser sight with every pump. So if you were someone that was relying on that laser sight with the pump action, thank God that that's fixed, because that thing constantly turning on and off is probably a death nail for you. So rejoice. Now, we did go over vehicles in the beginning, but they have a whole separate section for vehicles. Now, this one is kind of like a troll, but it's hilarious that it's in the game. They added a horn sound to quads and Humvees that can be muted. You actually can mute it locally for yourself if you don't want to hear it. But they added the sounds to it. So if people don't have it muted, you can literally get in and start honking the horn, which means you could park behind someone and just keep honking them. That's hilarious. We need more stuff like that. They also added all teammates being able to spawn on the transport helicopters, not only squad mates. So if you didn't know, the big helicopter that can transport like 8 people at a time, only your squad could have spawned on you once it takes off. So this is a great change. Now the entire team can spawn on there. So no one has any more excuses during rush of not really rushing those first objectives. Spawn in the big bird and jump out. They also fixed players getting stuck in the ground after trading kills with a tank. This would happen to me, I wouldn't say frequently, but enough for it to be annoying, so it's great that that is fixed. They also fixed players getting stuck under the map after exiting vehicles. That hasn't happened to me maybe once when I wasn't paying attention, but that's cool. They also fixed vehicle vignette already being visible when running towards a parked vehicle. I don't use vignette, so that's cool that that's fixed. Now this is an interesting one. They adjusted velocity momentum of flying vehicles. So that's going to affect a lot of people's muscle memory in this game. And that's going to take some time to kind of get used to, or maybe not. Maybe it's just something that is just a small quality of life thing that you instantly get used to. We'll see as that develops. But lastly, most importantly in the vehicles, they actually reduced the Little Bird splash damage range by 25%. So if you were someone that was feeling that the Little Bird was a little too overpowered when it came to its damage against you, well, rejoice, its effective range has been reduced by 25%. A pilot can still shred you if the reticle is right on your character, but they have to be a little bit more precise now. Last 2 categories, the first one being audio. They added warfare ambient sounds. Like basically it sounds like a battlefield's happening around you. So there's gonna be explosions and stuff off in the distance and like noises. So that's cool. They also added footstep surface sounds, which is fantastic. Although I do wonder how it's going to play with people. I'm someone that loves sneaking up behind someone that's camping and putting the pistol in the back of their head and just like talking to them for a little bit before I waste them. But now it gives them more of a fighting chance. They should be able to hear you coming. So this is great news for recon players that will camp for too long. But pay attention now, you should be able to hear enemy footsteps. They also added player death screams, which if that didn't happen enough IRL after a 13-year-old yells into your microphone, well, now the in-game characters can also scream. You can turn that off if that's not your fancy, but they make noises now in game. They also fixed kill marker sound playing upon self-elimination, which that is just a funny sentence in and of itself. And finally, they adjusted outside sounds for all maps. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the outside is, but it's cool that they have adjusted that. And finally, we have UI changes. They added icons to the scoreboard to show who is speaking. Thank God, honestly, because the game was slowly becoming more and more toxic with some of the player base that don't understand what they're saying or the ramifications of what they're saying. And I was hearing some interesting talk going on. So now you'll be able to go right into the scoreboard and you'll see that flashing icon, like the little, whatever you call it, microphone icon that tells you who is speaking at that time, which it was needed. So go right in there, mute that player, block them, report them, whatever you're going to do. But at the very least, you can mute them. So thank God for that. They also fixed the out of bounds square being visible for the entire match, which was an annoying visual bug if you've ever had it. Basically, you would go out of bounds, it would yell at you, you would go back in bounds, and then you had a stupid black square on your screen the entire time. They also improved the miniature vehicle models on the map. That's funny. I don't know if you guys paid attention. Did you know there was a thing? I feel like some of you guys don't actually know that's a thing. The vehicles, be it blueberry vehicles or raspberry vehicles, you can see them on the map before you spawn. So if you're looking at A and you see like a little tank symbol right there, that means you're about to fight a tank. Wow, isn't that creative? And finally, they changed the skip revive button's name to block revives. So I don't know why it had to be changed to that one, but I did notice that there was one time when I pressed skip revives. The next time I went down, it still said skip revives, and I could never retoggle it back on. So hopefully this kind of fixes that. Anyway, that about wraps it up to the update for Forefront. What do you guys think? Are you getting absolutely demolished by the attack helicopter? Is the anti-air even good, or is it something that people are just going to constantly struggle with? I want to hear your thoughts down below. I am very excited for the Conquest Siberia. It's amazing. I'm honestly more excited that enemies can no longer spawn on their friends when they're currently being shot and shot at, so thank God for those changes. But that about wraps it up for this Forefront video. Pretty much after speaking with the devs, it seems like we're going to be getting one update a month-ish as far as content goes. Oh wait, there's one more thing I forgot to cover, which isn't technically in the dev notes, it's in their server announcement, but there's going to be a price increase in the new year. So if you're watching this in the future, in like 2026, hi, how are you? Forefront is currently $19.99 US dollars, with $20 rounded up. So they are saying that after the new year, so after what, in January 1st, you can expect the first, which is scary, first price increase to take place, paired with another banger of an update. So I don't know, I assume they're going to raise the price when they do the January update, but keep that in mind. They haven't said what they're raising the price to. I'm a little scared that it says first price increase, but I'll gonna let you slide on that one for now. Anyway, that's it for me. I have to go hop back on the Forefront and do some more testing. I hope to see you there. Make sure to subscribe. It's free. But other than that, I have been Drifter from Downloadable Content, and I will see you on the Forefront.